So, first of all, the Nobel Prize in the field of medicine for 2025 has been conferred upon three scientists, Brunkau, Ramsdell, and Sakaguchi, for their contributions to understanding the nature of our immune system. Yes.
It is trained more and more. Very simply, like we say, training AI in the present time.
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, the analogies we use in order to explain the immune system is like the army. Without understanding the nature of the enemy, I don't know what weapons the enemy is, specifically what weapons the enemy is coming with. So I cannot build an armed force. For example, take diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is a condition in which your body is not able to produce enough insulin, and insulin is something that gives signal to the cell to take sugar from the blood. Absolute autoimmune disorders, diabetes, and in many cases, in fact, where your immune system turns up against your own cells. Though all of those places, definitely T regulatory cell therapy will be the future of the medicine. I think it is the present of the medicine, but it will definitely be the future of the medicine.
Hello everyone, welcome to BARIAR'S podcast series Contemplation. And today with us we have Arun Bharadwaj Sir, who is the Faculty of Science and Technology. So Arun Sir, welcome to podcast.
Thank you so much, sir.
So very recently, Nobel Prize in the field of medicine has been announced. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
So first of all, the Nobel Prize in the field of medicine for 2025 has been conferred upon three scientists, Brunkau, Ramsdell, and Sakaguchi, for their contributions to understanding the nature of our immune system, and specifically how our immune system develops tolerance when they face our own cells. Because as you must be knowing, immune system is essentially designed in order to attack a foreign cell. But sometimes it so happens that our immune system fails to recognize or distinguish between the foreign cells and our own self cells, and they start attacking our own body. And you must have heard of the autoimmune disorders. Okay,
Absolutely.
And that is when our defense forces are really turning up against our own body. So that is what happens.
So is this the way naturally our body immune system works?
So to talk about that a little, I have to give you a background about the immune system. Very simply, if you see, our body is beautifully designed. This machine is beautifully designed in order to face any attack or threat from a foreign body. So when we talk about the immune system, we talk about the two types of immune system. One is innate and one is acquired. Innate, as the name suggests, there are certain mechanisms in the body which are designed to throw out the foreign body as they come. It can be a dust particle that comes out and we sneeze in order to throw it out. Or for that matter, inflammations that you have, so in order to throw out some of the pathogens also. So those are innate. So it doesn't need the body to be trained in order to attack the foreign bodies. The other part is the acquired part, where our body's immune system learns over a period of time in order to attack the pathogens. Now, as a part of the acquired part, you have two types of immune cells.
So sorry to interrupt over here. Does that mean that the acquired immune system of ours is a function of time, and as one ages, the acquired immune system goes on developing further and further?
Absolutely. I mean, I would not connect it to the age, but it is definitely not immediate. The immune response it develops over time.
It's possibly over the idea of exposure.
Idea of
gets
exposure.
More and more exposure of the pathogens.
Yes.
It is trained more and more. Very simply, like we say, training AI in the present time.
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, the analogies we use in order to explain the immune system is like the army. Without understanding the nature of the enemy, I don't know what weapons the enemy is, specifically what weapons the enemy is coming with. So I cannot build an armed force. So our immune system is really an armed force that is developed by nature itself in order to attack the enemy. First of all, identify the enemy and then attack the enemy. And which is what, in fact, different types of immune cells are really doing.
Okay. So I think you were telling us about this acquired immune system and the different types of cells
Yeah.
which are associated with it.
So when we talk about there are two types of cells. I mean, there are many things. Among other things, there are two types of cells for the sake of simplicity. One type of cell essentially tries to identify the enemy. And these cells are called B cells.
Okay.
You must have heard of B cells and T cells. The job of B cell is to identify the enemy by its weapon. And the weapon is what we call fancily as antigen. And once B cells identify the enemy or the antigen, it creates an image of that antigen, and that is what is called as an antibody. And once it has created an image of the antigen or the antibody, once it is produced, it presents it to other cells to kill it, to act upon it. And that is where the second type of cells come into picture, T cells, which are essentially killer cells.
So this phase is more or less like a training period.
It is a training period. So B cells get trained. Again, B cells are released in the bone marrow. Both B cells and T cells are released in the bone marrow. And B cells, you will be surprised to know, does not require any training. Okay. Or it trains as when the enemy comes.
Okay.
So that is, again, it takes some time. But T cells are, again, they undergo a special training in a part called thymus.
Okay.
In the body. They get trained, and then these T cells act upon the enemies whenever the B cells show them that this enemy has attacked. So that is how, actually, I mean, it's a very beautifully coordinated system that acts against all the enemies.
So it means basically T cells are the army, and the B cells create that trigger alarm.
Absolutely. T cells are like commandos, and B cells are like engineers in the army, where they are basically equipping the commandos in terms of their knowledge for about the weapons of the enemy and so on and so forth. So this is exactly what I mean. This is roughly how our immune cells work.
So I suppose this is a basic knowledge that we already had earlier about the immune system.
Yeah.
What is this new discovery all about? How is it improvement over our earlier knowledge?
Yeah. So as I was telling you about T cells, whenever they encounter an infected cell, because it takes some time for the B cells to develop the image of the antigen or to develop the antibodies. So in that time period where the B cells are getting ready to develop the antibodies, the cells are already infected by the pathogen. So what T cells do is identify those infected cells and kill them. So when they identify, so in order for this to happen, it's a beautifully coordinated system where T cells, when they enter the infected cells, it's like pushing an accelerator and starting to kill. The only difference is the T cells, if they encounter normal cell, in some cases T cell presses the accelerator even in the normal cells, healthy cells, non-infected cells. Their job was only to kill when they encountered an infected cell.
So that becomes a case of almost self-destruction of the body.
Self-destruction. So therefore, that's why, very rightly, it is called as the autoimmune disorders. So where our own immune system, our own commandos have turned up against us. So that is one of the and the mechanism through which, so when these cells are encountering self cells, our own cells, there is another mechanism through which they apply a brake. They don't kill. So that is what they are supposed to do. So this mechanism of applying the brake when they are encountering the self cells is what that mechanism, the discovery of that mechanism is what is being conferred the Nobel Prize on this time.
And so how do we see this discovery, changing the course of mankind, if we say so, or the future course,
right,
in the field of medicines?
Yeah. So it's if I look at the Nobel Prizes in the last few years, last 7-8 years, most of the I think 5 out of 7 Nobel Prizes have been conferred upon the discoveries that will lead to large scale treatment therapies, a change in a therapy strategies. And this is also that. Now, specifically this year, what this discovery can do or has helped us do is design some therapies to train our T cells not to kill our own cells. For example, in case of rheumatoid arthritis, you must have heard of rheumatoid arthritis. In this case, what happens is it's actually an autoimmune disorder. There is no infection from a foreign body at all. The challenge in this is our T cells starts killing the cells that produce some lubricants in the joints. When they start killing the cells which produce lubricants in the joint, so there is again, so the bones are not able to move smoothly, which is what the lubricants do, and thereby again it creates multiple, and that actually cascades into multiple conditions, and that is the problem with rheumatoid arthritis. Or for example, take diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is a condition in which your body is not able to produce enough insulin, and insulin is something that gives signal to the cell to take sugar from the blood for cellular respiration. So in the absence of insulin, so the cell forgets to take sugar from the blood, and that is the biggest challenge. So what these immune cells are said to do is kill those cells which produce insulin. There are beta cells in pancreas that create this insulin, and they forget to, and because the T cells are killing these beta cells, they stop producing insulin, and which leads to type 1 diabetes. And therefore, again, the new treatment strategies will actually, initially we would produce insulin or give external help to the ones who are suffering from type 1 diabetes. But now we understand what could be done is train your T cells not to kill those beta cells, so that a normal insulin production is happening in the body. So it is a treatment strategy, so to speak. And these T cells which regulate the activity of this section of cells which regulate the activity of T cells are itself called as Tregs, or regulatory T cells, which regulate the T cells essentially. Yeah.
So it means more or less this new discovery is going to improve overall immune system of ours, working of immune system, and can prove to be very helpful in therapy for the disorders that arises from that.
Absolutely. Autoimmune disorders, diabetes, and in many cases, in fact, where your immune system turns up against your own cells. Though all of those places, definitely T regulatory cell therapy will be the future of the medicine. I think it is the present of the medicine, but it will definitely be the future of the medicine.
So definitely, the insights from Arun sir, has given me a much better clarity about what this Nobel Prize has been about, how it is going to contribute to the future course of mankind. Thank you very much, Arun
Thank you
sir,
so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Explaining us so well and simplifying the things for me as well as our listeners.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for listening.